Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexForNoobs.com with the daily analysis. Today is Tuesday, the 26th of February 2019. Time is 9 a.m. here in the UK. You're looking at a New Zealand CAD. I'm going to switch to the daily chart. Today's analysis, we're going to be looking for price action setups, and we're going to be reviewing some of last week's setups. But let's get started with the calendar, actually. Let's see what's going on today and tomorrow. Well, in about 1 hour, we have the inflation report hearings. That's pretty important. That could move the market. Do watch out for that one. 2:45, Fed Chairman Powell testifies. Again, this is one. Anytime you've got an important person talking, someone that's important to the economy, it can be pretty impactful on the market. So do watch out for both of these today. They can cause a big impact. So what do I mean when I say watch out? Well, you could take one or two approaches. The approach I usually take is to tighten my stops. Some people will widen their stops. That way it gives the trade a little bit more breathing space, but they would also lower their risk in that case by exiting part of that position. You don't widen your stop and just leave everything in there, because that means you're risking more than you originally planned. You need to close out part of that position when you widen your stop. So those are two approaches. I usually just tighten the stop. The reason for tightening the stop is because if price swings wildly in one direction or the other, I am less likely to get slipped because my stop will trigger before it would have otherwise. Anyway, up to you how you handle it. I'm not actually in any trades right now, so it doesn't really matter. But if I were in any trades, that's how I would probably deal with it. Then we got the CB Consumer Conference. I'm not too bothered with that. Hey, Juilliard, Steve, Paul, Alex and Barks and everyone. The other Paul. There's two Pauls. Hello, everyone. So let's get into the actual analysis. Last week, I took a short on... wait, I want to see who else entered the short real quick. Fair few people entered. It was shared on the forum. Yeah, wow, heaps of people entered. So how did everyone do with this one in the end? Everyone who was in the trade that's in the room, how'd you guys do with it? You closed yesterday. When you say 25%, do you mean 25% of the original target? Fair enough. I trailed my stop down with this one. As I was saying in the previous webinar, I was trailing my stop down. So I got out with 1R around about here. Because what I was doing was moving this stop loss down. When it hit 1.5R, which was roughly here, I pulled my stop down to 0.5R. Sorry, to 1R. And then my stop got hit. Just start testing something new with trailing trades manually. So I guess in summary, that trade ended up profitable, not as profitable as I wanted it to be. It pulled back up, but you know, what can you do? USD CAD. USD CAD, is anyone long on this? There was a potential long here last week. I wasn't too bothered with it, but no one's long on this. Well, if anyone is long that's not in the room right now, I shared a potential long here last week. This one's going quite well. I didn't enter this one. We'll get to that, Nick. We'll get to that when we go back over the pairs. First, we go through last week's setups, and then we'll go over the analysis. Well, anyway, I think some people are in this one because I marked it green. It's going pretty well. I mean, hold on to it if you're in on it. GBP New Zealand. Anyone short on this? I don't think so. Mark that off. GBPJPY. Oh, actually, this one was supposed to be green. So this one triggered last week, ended up in a failed trade. It failed sometime yesterday. A bit of an unfortunate situation here. It was a really strong setup in terms of it was stuck on resistance. It was backed up by the 200 moving average, so that was some extra support. It was a pretty decent resistance area. It had shown us a pretty strong bounce previously. But yeah, it just didn't work out. I entered this one, hit my stop loss. What can you do? USDCHF. There was a potential long here that hasn't triggered. So I think that wraps it up for the potentials and for the trades that were open. I guess I'll unmark New Zealand CAD because no one's still in that one. And we'll keep USD CAD marked because some people might still be in that one. So let's get into the actual analysis itself. Now that we've gone over the pairs that we looked at last week. Sorry guys, I'm just getting a drink of water. I'm got a really dry mouth. It's really difficult to keep talking and talking and talking. Whoa, that is way better. Okay, so I can talk now. And everyone knows I love to talk. USD CAD, there are no setups on here because this one's currently in an open setup that people are already in. So obviously there's no setups here. New Zealand CAD, now New Zealand CAD, you will note, has pushed back up to our resistance area. Seen a few people asking if I'd go long, I'd go short again. Nick just asked, or Barkers, Nick just asked. And I'm not talking about myself, that's different, Nick. Now, it's a good question, but see, my problem with going short would be that I'm not sure if we could get a good risk to reward ratio. So let me shut this down because it keeps popping up. So if this candle closes exactly as it is right now, Might be able to pull off a good risk to reward ratio if we have a target around here. But that stop wouldn't be too safe. I'd rather have my stop above these highs here. These highs we got previously. So I'd rather have my stop up here. And at that point, having a target around about here where it stalled last time is just not going to be good. Look, there is potential here. We just need to wait and see how this candle closes. I'm not going to enter on a lower time frame. I want to see what this daily candle does. It's way too early to say. So let's keep a close eye on this, and we'll just come back to it in tomorrow's analysis after this daily candle closes. So there is potential. It's just, yeah, not right now. All right, GBP New Zealand, nothing much going on here. GBPJPY, this one's started to push up. We're going to look for a potential continuation from here. I want to see price pull back down to support and then continue up. So there is potential to get a trade here. Let's just watch this one and see. There is no trade right now, obviously, because it's just broken through. So to get a good entry, we're going to need it to fall back down into support. GBP New Zealand, yeah. Nothing much going on. USDCHF stalling out on support, but it's just been moving sideways for quite some time now. So there's nothing that I would trade there. Oh, I forgot to talk about silver. Is anyone still in this trade? This is just a testing trade anyway for me, so it wasn't that important. That's why I forgot about it. It looks like this trade's going well. This is one of those that I shared last week. It's not going as well as, I would hope. It's not going straight down to support, but it is slowly working its way down, so do keep this one open. I'll mark this one as an open trade, but this one's just a tester for me because I want to test doing some commodity trading or possibly some CFD trading. So, yeah, we'll just keep an eye on that. AUDCAD stalling out on resistance. No real setup here. USDJPY pushing up to that 200 moving average again. Again, there's nothing really happening here. Bit of a boring start to the week. AUDCAD. Potential for a short continuation here. Price is trending down overall. The last move down, though, was pretty small. There is potential for a short continuation here. Let's see what happens at this resistance area. Let's see if it stalls out. If it stalls out, we might get a short continuation tomorrow. But I'm not that crazy about it because there's a few reasons. First of all, this trend doesn't seem to be that strong. It seems to have a lot of sideways movement instead of moving down where we want it to move. Second, the last time it pulled up to here and it pulled down, it quickly came back up. So yeah, I'm not really overly fussed with this one. Let's keep an eye on it. It might turn into something good, but yeah, it's not going to be until tomorrow. We'll just have a look at it tomorrow and see. What were we up to? Did we look at AUDUSD? Well, it's not doing much anyway, so nor is New Zealand USD, nor is Euro USD. GBPUSD is making a move up finally. Let's see what happens when it hits this resistance area that it hit recently. See how it hit it recently and it pulled away? I'm curious to see what happens when it pushes back up to it. But it looks like it might be starting an uptrend, really. That would be good to see. Price breaking through this resistance area and then shooting up. Yeah, let's keep an eye on GBPUSD. There's no imminent setup here. There's a lot of ones I've marked orange today that aren't really going to give us any potential trades in the next 24 hours. But I'll review them and I'll explain why I'm marking them when we get to the end of this list. AUD New Zealand, nothing much going on. Nor on CAD CHF. Euro AUD, yeah, nothing much going on. Euro CAD, nothing much going on. Euro GBP is hitting a very, very important low. This is a strong low that has been hit a few times now and has failed to break. So the last time price was below this level was the 7th of June 2017. After that, or the 19th of May, really. After that, it pushed up and it has been up above ever since. It's made 2 attempts at breaking it. Here. That was the 16th of April, 2018. 24th of Jan, 2019, it made a 2nd attempt at breaking it. Now it's making a 3rd attempt at breaking it. Honestly, it's looking like GBP is quite strong at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks. But that being said, we're going to keep a close eye on this one. Look for potential indecision. If we get price stalling out on the support area, could indicate that we could get in for a reversal trade. If price breaks through this support area, then pulls back up to it, we could be looking for a continuation trade. So there's 2 potentials here. We just need to take a look at the support area and see what happens. There's a lot of waiting and seeing today and not much doing, but some days are just like that when you're trading the large time frames. Sometimes you're just not going to get the setups on the first day of the week. It's just going to take a little while for them to kind of come out. And it looks like today is one of those days because we have a lot of wait and see and not much do. Nothing on Euro JPY, nothing on Euro New Zealand, nothing on GBP AUD. I really need to get these support resistance areas right for gold. I just threw them on this chart really quickly without giving it much thought. But and it's because I'm just testing these trades with these commodities. Yeah, it's not the easiest pair to get good support resistance on though. Let's keep an eye on gold. I want to see what it does at this support area, but I'm not going to take any important trade on there. Or any trade with any serious amount of money, if any money at all. USOIL. I don't know how many people have access to this pair, but it's also trending up. It is hitting an area of support right now, stalling out on that support area. So again, this is something that I'm just testing, but I'm going to look for a potential long there. So let's do a bit of a summary here, guys, because there's a lot of stuff happening today, and a lot of them might not trigger for the next 24 to 48 hours, if at all. So New Zealand CAD has pulled back up to our resistance area. So we could get a 2nd attempt at shorting here and hitting our target, which would be down here. Because last attempt our target was not hit. A lot of us got out with profit, but not the profit we were looking for. So we're potentially getting a second attempt here. I'm not that enthusiastic about this second attempt, because I'd still want to maintain a stop loss above the highs set by these candles here. So I'd want it above here. And my entry, that could be a bit tighter than it was last time, depending on how this candle closes. But best case scenario, the candle closes as it is now. I'd still want to have an entry, somewhere down here-ish. To be honest, I could have it tighter technically if I follow the minimum requirements for entering a trade based on my rules. But the minimum requirements are, they're not a goal, they're just the minimum you go for. So yeah, the risk to reward ratio is not that good, because I'd want to have my initial target down here somewhere, since last time I couldn't get below there. So there is potential here, but I'm just not that excited about it. Let's come back to this one in tomorrow's analysis and see how it plays out. We need to wait for this daily candle to close, essentially. GBPJPY, it's just broken above resistance, so I'm looking for a potential long if it pulls back down to support. But it's not doing that right now, so that's going to take a while. AUDCAD, there's a potential short continuation, but it's a very weak and risky setup. Honestly, I'm not going to take this one. I'm just marking it for people who are more interested in taking these kinds of setups. So there's a potential short here, but it's just a bit too messy and risky for me. GBPUSD, I'm very curious to see what happens when it hits that resistance area, but it hasn't hit it yet, so again, we just need to wait and see. EURGBP stalling out on support already. I'm very curious to see what happens at this support area, but again, we need to wait and see, probably for tomorrow, before we get an indecision candle. Even on the 12-hour, it's only just hitting it and starting to stall out. So yeah, we just need to wait. Gold USD, yeah, there's nothing really on there. I'm not sure why I marked that one. But US oil, this is a bit interesting. We've got a nice uptrend here. Prices drop back to support. Potential for a long trade here. But this is something that I wouldn't really trade with any serious amount of money. I might only trade it on a demo, to be honest, because I'm just testing. And when I'm testing, I don't put real money at risk. Or I don't put any significant amount of money at risk. I want to add commodities to the rotation of pairs we look at in the analysis, and my personal analysis and my trading. I want to try add commodities to there, see how they work, because they tend to move quite nicely, pretty consistently. You tend to get some volatility on these pairs, and they tend to move. When I say nicely, what I mean is they tend to trend on larger time frames, which is pretty cool, because trends are, generally speaking, the easiest place to profit. So yeah, that wraps it up for the analysis, guys. Oh, sorry, I forgot to answer that question. On silver, do I think? Yeah, I mean, it's moving sideways a little bit, but we're getting new lows. So I think it's still fine. Sellers are still in control. If the control's not that strong, but what I mean is new lows from this candle, not new lows from that candle. You can't exit as soon as sellers appear to have lost control. Still got a strong resistance area above you. Trade's still fine. Are there any other questions, guys? No, not at all. This is just normal price action in a trade. It's very rare that you're going to get a trade that just goes boom and straight to your target, straight in your direction without pulling back. It's just how it works. It's going to go like that, pull back a little bit, then go like that. That's the normal progression of most trades you take. So I don't really see anything too wrong with this. This is just progressing as a normal trade would. It'd be great if it just went straight down to target, but that's a lot rarer than price pulling back a little bit. No problem. It looks like there's no other questions, so I'm going to wrap this analysis up for today. Nothing too exciting right now. I imagine tomorrow is going to be a little bit better when these have a chance to do something. So thank you guys for attending, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.